I don't know yet. I'll tell you. Both of them? All right, most high, correct. Lots. I ain't sending you. I'll send it to you. I'm about to start in the next second. Everybody put their phones on mute if you could. 56. All right. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, we good. The mics are good. Just double check one time with the mics.
Mic check.
Yep. Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2. Yeah, that's perfect.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Check.
Yeah. Mic check 1 2. A little more. Like that's perfect. Right there.
Check yours one more time.
Mic check. Mic check 1 2. To up.
Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, we should be good. All right, let's get started. We the I.S.U.P.K starting at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We've been doing this since 1969, letting the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that you are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And today on the Long Island class, we're going to go over not just gymnastics, but we're going to go over, what's the sister's name? Simone Biles, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to go over mental health, but not just mental health, but more on the lines of running away from your oppression. You know what I'm saying? Go into sports and NBA and tennis or Olympics or whatever activities you like doing and love. It's not going to stop the oppression that's on Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You're always going to be oppressed. No matter how much you feel like you got to do this or that, or you're winning all these gold medals or whatnot, you're going to still realize you're a nigga in a silk dress or Olympic suit or a Speedo swimming in the water. You just a nigga that know how to swim that has gold medals around your neck and go home to the hood after it's all said and done after the 4 years. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to also bring out that in slavery, we did sports. We did things. We was excited to do things. You know why? Because it made us forget the oppression that we were, the slaves that we were, the rewards that we got. We will boast to other slaves to be like, listen, the slave master loves me more. And because of that, I'm going to go out and do this sport some more. Listen, this is history, man. You think that being in the Olympics is new? You think being doing all these sports and whatnot and still feeling oppressed is new. Been going through this for millenniums, man. But this ain't nothing new. Let me start from the very beginning. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Because we got to know, where does it start from? Where does this mental illness, where does the oppression and the depression come from, man? Where all these waking up to go to slavery come from? Where did it start? And this is where we're going to find out where it starts. If you got it, just read it.
Kado and Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15.
Right.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Listen, read it again. What does it say?
Kado and Khan. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Go ahead, finish up.
Salakia. To observe and to do all his commandments.
To do all his commandments. Listen, this is talking about when Moses is reading the curses to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. There was blessings and there was curses, man. And then the Lord and Moses was telling you what would happen if you served the Lord, and what would happen if you disobeyed the Lord. So read it one more time. What does it say?
Khan. But if it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
right,
to observe, to do all his commandments.
To observe and do what?
All his commandments.
Not some, but what?
All his commandments.
And that's the problem. We only wanted to do some. We ain't want to do what?
All his commandments.
All his commandments, man. We didn't want to do all of his commandments, and that's the problem. Like it is today. We want to cherry pick. You wanna not eat pork and this, but you love white women. You know what I'm saying? You don't love white women, but you love pork. Or you do everything the Bible says, but you just hate paying tithes. There's just something about it that you don't love. But the scripture says what?
To observe and do all his commandments.
And do what?
All his commandments.
And do all his commandments. Keep going.
And his statutes, which I commanded thee this day.
Right.
And all these curses shall come upon thee.
All these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee.
And that's what it is. When we don't listen to the Most High God, when we don't do the Lord's statutes and commandments, what happens?
All these curses shall come upon thee.
All these curses should come upon thee. You know what's part of these curses? Mental health, man. Right. Mental illness. Being feeling oppressed in an environment where you feel that you should be striving in, man. I work Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week. Why do I still feel like I'm a slave? I have all these nice things, but why do I feel depressed and want to kill myself? Why do I go to Olympics ready to do these gymnastics, but at the very end, I cut out at the last moment, and everybody thinks I'm a quitter? It's because at the end of the day, you realize you are still a nigga. You still oppressed, man. No, ain't no amount of money ain't gonna fix oppression. Right. Ain't no amount of money is gonna fix that for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You can't escape these curses, man. You can't. It goes back to Adam and Eve, man. In the garden, in the fig leaves. What we try to do? We try to run away from the Lord by what? Put it on fig leaves. Put it on different nations, man. But what happens? The curses are still there. The curses are still there, man. Like with Oprah. When Oprah tried to go into the mall, to that store and buy something, what happened? You can't come in here. You know who I am? Yeah, you a nigga. No, I'm Oprah. No, you a nigga. And what happened? She had to call her bosses, her top white people, to realize, oh, that's Oprah Winfrey. You know what I'm saying? And that's letting you know, listen, you can't hide from your oppression. No matter what gifts you got, listen, you still gonna live under these curses, man. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. Curses shall thou be when thou come.
Curse shall thou.
Slakia, sir. Curses shall thou be when thou cornest.
Curse shall thou be when thou comest in, and curse shall thou be when thou goest out. That's verse 19, man. That's letting you know, no matter where you go, you're gonna be cursed, man. Curse you, damn if you do, damn if you don't, basically, man. You go to work, guess what? You're gonna be cursed. You damn well, you know what? That job wasn't for me. I'm gonna work outside in a off the books job. Guess what? You cursed out there too, black man, Hispanic man, Native American. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna be a gymnastic. I'm gonna do flips and runs. Guess what? You're gonna be cursed too if you go in there. You know why? Because you're gonna suffer from mental illness. You're gonna have a mental breakdown. You're gonna realize, damn, wow, all this time, you know, it was COVID and this and that, and they want us to come out here. I might catch COVID. Well, I don't want to do this no more, man. It was fun when I was young, but now I don't feel like doing gymnastics no more. But guess what? It's too late. You've been doing this for your slave master. You've been making him money. You've been doing this and that for him. You have to do this. Or guess what? You're gonna be labeled as a quitter, man. You're gonna be labeled as somebody that didn't give it all. You ain't gonna be what? All American, like they say. You're gonna be a traitor to American, because guess what? You quit. You gave out on your team. That's letting you know they don't give a damn about how you feel, your mental health, your well-being, your family. They want you to die on that goddamn field. I don't care if it's the Olympic field, your job, your wherever you do where the white man or the oppressor oppresses you. He wants you to die there and get whatever he wants from you. He don't care about your well-being. Clearly he don't. But read verse 19 again. What does it say?
Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in,
Uh-huh.
and cursed shall thou be when thou comest out.
Keep going.
Verse 20. And the Lord shall send upon thee curses.
It should be sent upon thee what?
Curses.
Curses. Keep going.
Vexation.
What?
Vexation.
Vexations, man. You're going to be angry. You're going to be disappointed, man. You're going to be furious. He's going to send vexations. Keep going.
And rebuke.
Uh-huh.
And all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do.
Uh-huh.
Until thou be destroyed.
Until thou be what?
Until thou be destroyed.
Listen, until thou be destroyed, man. The Lord is sending you curses and vexations and rebuke, and all thou settest thy hand unto for you to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings. Hereby thou hast forsaken me, man. That's why, you know, straight up, the Lord is gonna just destroy you for not listening to these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. You want to go out there and serve this other master? You want to serve the devil? You want to be like your father, the devil, like the Bible says? Well, guess what? You're going to get curses. You be going to be vexed. You're going to get rebuked. Anything you put your hands on, guess what? It's going to destroy you, like the scriptures says, man. And guess what? The Olympics is destroying this system, man. Not just her, but any old black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian, man. We are lost and destroyed out here because we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. This is a curse that's upon you walking around, man. You wondering why is nothing going the way it's going? Why are you always destroyed? Why are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians always at the end of everything? Why do we always struggling? Listen, we the best at everything. We could do basketball better than everything. Everybody. We can sing better than everybody. We go to the gymnastics, the Olympics, we do better than everybody. But why are we on the bottom? Why do we feel like why are we always losing though? We're winners with gold goddamn medals, but we're losers, man. You know why? Because we're cursed. We are absolutely cursed, man, by the Most High God and our Father, man. And that's why we need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. You want to really win. You want to really get some goddamn gold medals. You want some, you really want some gold. Put this, Most High is going to give you a crown of gold on your goddamn head, man. That's better than any old crown, gold medals from the Olympics, man, or any other place. But that's if you love the Lord. That's if you want to serve the Most High God. You have to come back and serve these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. That's an order that you need to do, man. Come back. If I could keep going, drop down to verse, what was that? Read verse 21.
Con. Verse 21. The Lord shall make thee pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it.
Listen, and the Lord said, and the Lord shall make pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. Listen, no matter where we go, guess what? We're gonna have pestilence there, man. You're gonna have diseases and all types of things. Stuff that will affect you mentally, physically, and spiritually, no matter where you go, no matter how much money you get, no matter how much wealth and status you might obtain. Guess what? The Lord says what? Read it again.
Con. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee.
He's gonna do what?
Make the pestilence cleave unto thee.
He's gonna make sure that the pestilence cleaved unto you, man. All those diseases, all those problems, all those sufferings you go through, you can run like a mug, but you got diabetes, man. You suffer from asthma. You got all types of things, right? But you know why? Because the pestilence cleaves onto you. You could flip like a hell. You could do all these gymnastics, backflip, cartwheel, stay in the air for 4 seconds during the flip, but you suffer from mental illness. It's because what?
The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee.
Until he has what?
Consumed thee.
Until it consumes you, man. Until those pestilence consume you. All those diseases, all those mental health, all those things that's gonna destroy you. That's from in the Bible, man. That's from the curses that Moses is reading to our forefathers, us, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Right. Moses read the blessings that what would happen if you learned to serve the Lord. But he also read what would happen if you didn't serve the Lord, man. And this is why what's going on in the world right now with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We have pestilence cleaving on to us. No matter where we go or what land to possess it, guess what? We're going to be destroyed by it, man. What's that? Verse what? The end of what? Verse 21? Drop down to verse 23.
Verse 23. In thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass. And the earth that is under thy socket, that is under thee, shall be iron.
Listen, this is letting you know, like your conditions is gonna be hard, man. The conditions you're gonna live in is gonna be rough. It says, "And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass." That brass over your head, guess what? That you can't get out of that. You know how hard brass is. You know, when brass is over your head, you know you in trouble. You in trouble. Guess what? There's nothing over our oppressor's head. There's no stigma for him. There's no pulling your bootstrap for him. He's living the best of his life. You know why? Because there is no curse over our oppressor. Our oppressor is the curse on us, man. And it's because of scriptures like this. Read it one more time.
Verse 23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass. And the earth that is under thee shall be iron.
Listen, and that's important. And not only is the heaven like brass, it says the earth that is under thee shall be like iron, man. Listen, the earth that's under you, it's going to be hard. The streets you go in, it's going to be rough. Your day-to-day life is going to be a hard, oppression life. Not just depression, but oppression, man. That's rough out there in them streets, out there in the world. And you know why? Because the Most High God made it that way. He made it so guess what? You want to disobey me? You think you're going to just leave and everything is going to be fine? No, you got to suffer for making a covenant with the Lord and then disobeying it, man. Just like any old relationship in marriage. You marry someone and you broke that marriage, guess what? It's going to be hard on you. You think it's going to be easy? Go out there in this world. What happened? You cheat on your girl. What's going to happen? She's going to go out there and make hell for you, man. She's going to go out there and go to your job and get you fired. She's going to draw on your car, a cheater and liar. And nowadays, she might blow up your car. Hell, I saw a video lately where this lady, this sister's trying to run over the brother. He's taking his clothes out the car and she's trying to run him over. Listen, I don't know what that brother did, but listen, for any sister to try to run over a brother with a car, he must have did something crazy. But guess what? We're not supposed to be doing any of that, man. We're not supposed to be trying to kill each other at all. If you're gonna, you feel like you're gonna kill each other, go get some goddamn counseling, man. Counseling is important so you don't kill each other. We need each other to build this goddamn this family. But besides the point, that is letting you know we are cursed, man. We are absolutely cursed and in hell. But if you could drop down to verse 28, read verse 28.
Verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness.
He was going to do what?
Smite thee with madness.
Listen, the Lord's going to smite you with what?
With madness.
With madness, man. Madness is part of mental health, man. It's part of your mental health. Hell, today in camp in the Bronx, we had some mental with madness out there, man. We had a Northern Kingdom sister stripping down butt naked because she can't stand the Lord's statutes and commandments, man. She's losing her mind because we bringing out the truth to trying to save our people. So what she do? She's stricken with madness on the street, getting butt naked to distract the word of God, distract the prophets of God. But we know better, man. We know that sister is suffering from mental illness. Like the scripture said, the Most High is going to do what? Read it one more time.
The Most High shall smite thee with madness.
He's going to strike thee with what?
Madness. And blindness.
And what?
And blindness. And astonishment of the heart.
And astonishment of the heart, man. Listen, we're gonna be blind, we're gonna be mad, and we're gonna hate the truth because of these curses that we go through on a daily basis, man. And because of the curses we go through on a daily basis, what do we do? We try to hide ourselves from the truth, man. We try to hide ourselves from the curses. We try to do everything we can in our power to do. Guess what? I'm a go fishing. I'm a be a car driver, or a race or whatever. Go on a motorcycle, smoke weed. I'm gonna be a gymnastics star, win gold medals. But realize at the end of the day, you're gonna still be oppressed. You're gonna realize I'm still stricken with madness. I'm still what else it says? Sloggy. Blindness, astonishment of the heart. Listen, we're gonna be realized at the end of the day, you're gonna realize you are still destroyed out here, man. And that's because we need to come back to the Most High God. But keep going, read verse 29.
Verse 29. And thou shalt grope in the noonday, and as the blind growth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in their ways. And thou shalt be oppressed.
That shall be what?
Oppressed. And spoiled evermore. Evermore. And no man shall save thee.
And listen, that's happening absolutely right now, man. Absolutely right now, the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You can't tell me this Bible ain't true. This Bible, these laws, statutes, and commandments, the so-called Tanakh, as some people like to call it, these are thousands of years ago that was written, letting you know what will happen if you disobey the Lord, man. This don't happen to everybody else. The other nations don't go through these type of curses that we go through. Well, listen, some might be oppressed. Somebody might be stricken with madness, but they all don't go through all these exact curses, man. Nobody was taken in ships by millions and millions and lost their identity and have to fight to get it back. And not only that, we fight for other people's cultures because we don't know who the hell we are. We too busy fighting each other, letting know, no, I'm African. No, we Hindu. Oh, no, we serve Scientology. Oh, no, we Muslims. We Moors. Well, goddamn, that's letting you know we are cursed. We are cursed people out here. And because we curse, what we do? We tend to forget about things. You know, I'm going to play Call of Duty all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to play Fortnite or whatever these kids are playing, whatever everybody's playing games. Let me forget this. Let me smoke weed. Let me play football. Let me play basketball. Let me do everything I gotta do except doing these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. To find out who we are truly, and that's God's chosen people. The day we put down all these distractions and these rewards that make us feel that we ain't oppressed no more, the day we pick up this Bible and realize that we the lost children of the house of Israel, then maybe, guess what? We won't be strict with madness no more. Right. We won't feel oppressed. We won't grow. Read verse 29 again. We won't be doing this.
Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday. And blind groweth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
Listen, and thou shalt grope in noonday and blind grope in the darkness. Listen, we're gonna complain all day. We're gonna complain at noonday. We're gonna complain when we don't know what to do. That's a curse on you. We don't know what the hell to do. Right. We complaining like, damn, I don't know what to do with my life. While everybody else is prospering, making money, and have a family, and have businesses that they could take them around the world, we don't know what the hell to do for the day. We get a day off, and what the hell we want to do? Maybe I might sleep. Maybe I might do something because I don't want to go to work. Do something to feel like I'm not a slave no more. God, I don't know what to do with my life. The mental illness, the madness starts coming in on you when you're not slaving. When you're not doing something to just make you not feel oppressed at the moment, you fine. But the soon as all that stops, as soon as you not doing gymnastics, as soon as you're not smoking weed, as soon as you're not playing video games or whatever careers and basketballs and sports you do, you finally come to realize, like, listen, I'm still oppressed. I'm still a slave. I still suffer from madness and sickness and pestilence. And that's letting you know, listen, we need to come back to the Most High God, man. We need brotherhood more than ever now. More than ever. Like, we should not be out there making this sister feel bad because of what? She ain't win a gold medal for goddamn America? She said her mental illness, her mental health was at stake. And guess what? We criticize her. Not just blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, but mostly America, man. America criticized this young sister. This sister is only 23 years old. 23. The first time in the Olympics, she was what, like 16, 17? I had to look it up today because I wasn't sure my goddamn self. So you out there criticizing a young child, man. Because what? She said her mental health is at stake because she ain't want to compete, a week or a few days? Listen, if that was me, the hell with the Olympics, man. The hell with the Olympics, because guess what? The Olympics is just there to keep us blind, man. To keep us docile. If I could, I'm gonna send you this article. Where is it? Copy. Kai. What? Nah, I'm gonna send it to Yashimon. If you could, you could sit by the computer. Just make sure the attendance and all that shit. Baba Kashar. 1 second. Yashua, I'm gonna send you the article now. Read it when you got it. Sorry, if I could get a tissue.
The article says, Michael Phelps says Simone Biles extinguished broken heart. Slakia, anguish, broken heart. Mm-hmm. Michael Phelps is standing by Simone Biles following the iconic gymnast stalking withdrawal from Slakia. shocking withdrawal from the team gymnastics competition at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics on Tuesday. Phelps shared his thoughts about her decision to prioritize her mental health.
Right.
Phelps, who is serving as a TV analyst for NBC during this year's Olympics, opened up to host Mike
Tarico, I guess.
Tarico, about how he understands and appreciates the
monumental.
Monumental pressure and mental strain that displays on athletes like Biles and others.
Right. So listen, Michael Phelps is letting people know. Listen, there's different things. I understand what this girl's coming from. It takes a devil to let you know what's going on in the Olympics, and it's letting you know. Listen, it's not all peachy keen. It's not all sweet out there. It's not all glory because we got gold medals. If the oppressor is letting you know, God damn, if it's hard on him, it got to be hard on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Especially the black women out there, man. Go ahead. Well, you had a question?
Colonel, sir, if I may. They have most of these Olympians sleeping on cardboard boxes.
Right.
If that's not crazy, I don't know what is.
Listen, you got them taking goddamn drugs, man. You got them. Listen, they criticize our sister for what? Shakika, I forget her name. Shakiri. They criticize her for smoking weed, but yet literally a week later, they have an article where they have gymnastics or people talking about how weed helped them through the Olympics, man. And like 1 second. And the only thing is because it didn't have THC in it. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't have the things that make you high. But that's still the point that they took weed. They took marijuana. They took cannabis. However you want to call it, man. Because the devil, listen, our oppressor is the goddamn devil, man. Listen, he labels things for certain people. When we do drugs and stuff like that, weed, it's called weed. It's called marijuana. It's called white widow. It's called this and that. But when it's medical, it's cannabis. It's hemp. It's when they use it, it's medical. Medicinal. Medical medicinal cannabis hemp to help me with my back pains. But when niggas do it, it's weed. It's drugs. It's that thing from the dealer. It's the thing that gets you banned for the next millennia. It gets you in jail for 40 years for an ounce.
Some of them say smoking dope. That's the old school term for marijuana. He out there smoking dope.
Smoking dope. You know what I'm saying? But besides the point, keep going with the article.
The easiest way for me to say this is athletes and Olympic athletes in general. We need someone who we can trust. Someone that can let us be ourselves and listen. Allow us to become vulnerable. Somebody who's not going to try to fix us. Phelps sharing, we carry a lot of weight on our shoulders.
Yeah,
and it's challenging.
Listen, man, and that's letting you know from this devil. Michael Phelps is letting you know. So, wait 1 second. Sorry, so you want me to send you the articles? Oh, Khan. Yashua, send over the Shalal Yala the article. But it's letting you know. He's letting you know. I'm gonna read it again. It says the easiest way for me to say this is athletes and the Olympic athletes in general. We need someone who we can trust. Somebody that can let us be ourselves and listen. Allow us to become vulnerable. Somebody who's not going to try to fix us. Phelps shared. We carry a lot of weight on our shoulders, and it's challenging, man. That's letting you know, God. That's letting you know, listen, the Olympics doesn't fix things, man. The Olympics is still, they go there still heartbroken, mental illness. They still go there when their mother has been shot, killed, whatever, your mother is in the hospital, guess what? You still gotta go to the damn Olympics and win daddy his gold medal, man. Win Papa the gold medal and go out there and be all you can be, man. Be American. Make America great again. They don't give a damn how you feel. And then guess what? It took this devil to let you know how it's really going on. I understand where this girl is coming from. She's going to do the same problems I'm going through. And this is letting you know why the oppressor is the goddamn devil, man. Why he's a deceiver. Why he should not be trusted. Why we need to just come back to the Lord's statutes and commandments, man.
It's lucky, so if I may, just to piggyback on what you said, it took the devil for other people to realize that our sister is human. She used the right words, mental health, and that's a red flag. But because she's a Negro, a nigger, whatever, Slakia,
right.
The devil had to let the world know, hey, she's human too. It's crazy that we're still slaves, sir.
Right, absolutely. Keep going with the article.
Khan.
We left off at when we carry a lot of weight on our shoulders and it's challenging. So. The one, whatever one is off.
Khan. Especially when we have the lights on us and all of these expectations that are being thrown on top of us.
Right.
Added the iconic swimmer who holds the record as the most decorated Olympian in history.
Right.
Biles addressed her decision at a press conference, telling reporters, whenever you get in a high stress situation, you kind of freak out.
You kind of what?
Freak out.
No, go ahead, sir.
I have to focus on my mental health,
right,
and not jeopardize my health and well-being.
Listen, and that's important, man. That's letting you know that you can't. She had to put her mental health first. America, listen, the American Olympic team should always put their Olympic, their gymnastics, or whoever it is, the runners, the swimmers and all that, they should always put their mental health first, man. That's letting you know that they didn't care about their mental health. She's letting you know that they did it. It said Biles addressed her decision at the press conference, telling reporters, whenever you get in a high stress situation, you kind of freak out. So just think about it. First of all, this sister, like I said before, is young. She started around 16, 17 in the Olympics. She was a young sister doing gymnastics, getting gold medals. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right now she's 23 years old or somewhere around there, 23, 24 years old. And she's saying she was going through a mental health problem throughout her 24. She's going through a mental health problem to what she said, whenever you get in a high stress situation, you kind of freak out. I have to focus on my mental health and not jeopardize my health and well-being. That's letting you know America would jeopardize your whole health and well-being to get some goddamn gold around in America, man. And what that sound like? That sound like what the oppressor does, man. I don't give a damn if you got COVID. Come into work. I don't care if you have sick days. You can't take them. Come to work. I don't care if you was off today. Come to work. Oh, your mother died? You have proof of that? No, come to work. Paratuzah?
Yes, sir. Salakia. Yes, sir. If I may, if she coming out right now and talking about that she have, like, you know what I'm saying, things going wrong with her mentally, I'm like, when did it start it? Right. She's 24. She could, this could have been going on since she was 20.
Well, she said when she went over there, she didn't have the problem. She said it just started when she got there. But little does she know, this problem's always been with her. This problem is a problem that all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have, man. It's a problem that we all suffer from, because why? We just read it. We just read Deuteronomy. We just read the curses that would be upon us if we didn't listen to the Most High God, man. So those curses, those mental health, yeah, you might not have them today, but guess what? You're going to have them tomorrow. You might have them the day after. It might go away the day before that, but guess what? It might just come back.
Carter Constance, Slakia, if I may, I'm not sure if I'm jumping ahead of what you're going to say, but our sister, she grew up in a foster home. So she doesn't know who her real parents is. Right. That could be the baseline of all her mental health, because we know what goes down there with our brothers and sisters in the foster home, and we're not being watched properly, sir.
Come on, sir. Go ahead.
I just want to say, just to add on to what the brother's saying, also, she's getting a lot of stress and mental trauma and all of that because she's letting a white man hit that. You understand? She has a white boyfriend. So we can't forget that. That adds a whole lot of stress.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And that goes into what I was going to go into later. But this sister, you know, she has a spirit of Esau all over her, man. If you see how she is day by day, she has a Esau, Edomite spirit on her. That's letting you know, listen, it don't matter how you act like them. If you want to dye your hair blonde, if you want to work with them, you want to be around them, guess what? You're going to have them curses on you, man. You can't escape these curses, brothers and sisters. You can't. These curses will follow you no matter where you go, like we read in Deuteronomy, man. They will follow you and they will consume you and then destroy you. You know why? Because we disobey the Most High God, man. So no matter what you do, guess what? You're gonna feel. You might feel some mental health problems. You might feel some diabetes and or whatnot, or all these diseases that come on you. You know why? Because you deserve to give up your blessings from the Lord, man. And you turned them in for curses, man. And because of that, guess what? You do all you can in your power to try to forget the Most High God and his curses. But if I could, sir, keep going.
Salakia.
God, go ahead.
I gotta stand corrected.
Go ahead.
The sister's not dating a white boy anymore. She with a brother now, right? Yeah, she with a brother. Get a sister a hand.
Oh, Most High in Christ.
Most High in Christ. Salakia.
God, Most High in Christ. But even though I know how this sister acts, she has a spirit of a white girl. This, you know what I'm saying? That's the spirit of Edom on her. You know what I'm saying? A spirit of America. And then guess what? No matter how fair you want to act, how Edomite you want to act, or oppressor, you want to be just like them, you're going to still suffer from mental health, man. Keep going, sir.
Come. We have to protect our body and our mind.
Right.
It's just when you're fighting with your own head. Biles cited tennis star Naomi Osaka for inspiring her to focus on her mental health.
Right.
Saying she and her teammates are not just athletes. We're people at the end of the day. Slakia. Phelps said Biles' story broke my heart, and that hopes it will serve as a springboard for more public conversations that begin destigmatizing mental health and mental well-being. Continue.
Wait. There was some part of this article. Wait, hold on one second. No, that was it. You read it. You could drop that. But at the end of the day, this is letting you know, man. Listen, the Olympics ain't gonna save you, man. No sports is gonna save you. Ain't nothing you can do to get out of this oppression, these curses that's upon Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. That mental health, that breakdown she had, you know what? That was bound to come because guess what? You wanna serve this master. You want to go out there and be all you can be, all American, all this gold medals and win this. And then once you get there, you realize, I don't know what I'm doing. You have all these thoughts coming through your head to the point where, you know what I can't do is I gotta quit. And then your teammates is looking at you like you came all this way for us to quit, for you to quit. You came all this way to do this. And guess what? The beast is going to bite right back at you because you did trying to disobey what the beast taught you to do, man. America teaches you to just forget about you being oppressed and do what I want you to do. You want to get out of oppression? Do what I say. Work 40 days a week. Pull up your bootstrap. Save some money. And when you're 60, 70 years old, you can retire. You can retire with a boat and go wherever you want. Where these devils is going to goddamn space, man. They going to space at 40 years old, 50 years old. But they want us to enjoy life when we at the end of it. Where they get to enjoy this kingdom right out the goddamn womb, man. Right out the womb, they get to enjoy this kingdom and feel happy and forget the promises of being a so-called a white man or a white woman. Because guess what? There's some type of privilege of being a white man and a white woman in this world. You come out looking like a oppressor. Guess what? You get everything dropped in front of you. Here's a bank statement. Here's a credit card. Here's a 1,200 credit score. Here's a car. Here's a diploma. Hey, you want a job at a multi-million-dollar company? And guess what they do? They turn things down like that. Like, nah, I want to be a musician. And what we do, we struggle just to get out of a goddamn 18 years old. Damn high school, we try to struggle to make it out of 18 years old. That's most of our goals when we start off when we're young. Can I please at least make it past 18? You make it past 18, you like, God damn, I made it past 18, man. Now I don't know what to do because I thought I was going to die at 17. I swear I was going to die at 17, 16, man. I swear I was. But guess what? You made it out of 18. Now you made it out of high school. What are you going to do? Your mom kicked you out the house. You got to get a job. Guess what? Why do you think we have all these mental issues? Why do you think we suffer from these curses? Because we don't know no better, man. We are taught by our oppressor to just pull our bootstraps up and deal with your problems. I deal with my problems. You could surely deal with your problems. Well, he couldn't understand what it is to be oppressed. Our oppressor does not understand what it is to live in the black, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man's shoes, man. That's why when they lose millions, they jump out the goddamn window, man. Shaw?
Concept, if I may, what you're saying is so heavy because Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians at 18, we don't know what our future beholds. But meanwhile, the oppressor, like one of those people that went up to the outer space recently was an 18-year-old rich boy.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely, man. You're right about that. That's why I put something on my Facebook where it says the 18-year-old boy went to space. And it was like Chief Keef made Love Sosa at 16. So what's your point? You know what I'm saying? It basically saying, so what, man? So what that this privileged white boy went to goddamn space. And they're so goddamn privileged that everything they do feels like an achievement. Oh, look at me. I made the light bulb. Oh, look at me. I did this. Look, we went to space. But when a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian does everything great, they bypass it. They say, "Oh, whatever. That was good that you did that." Goddamn! And recently, there's a brother or a sister that has like the highest IQ out there, higher than what's his name that died in that I forget his name. It was the top of my tongue. No, not Einstein. It was the crippled dude in the wheelchair. Yeah, smarter than Stephen Hawkins. I think it was a little young brother or sister, one of the two. It don't matter, but it got the highest IQ, and guess what? It's not even mentioned. It's just looked at. It's overlooked. But this boy goes to space at 18. White boy. Guess what? It's the greatest achievement known to man. It's something we should be proud of. America should be proud to put a young white boy into space, where a young 18-year-old black girl and a boy are dying daily, man. We have no families. We're fatherless. We're motherless. God damn, half the time we don't know where we're going. We're homeless.
Slack it, sir, if I may. to go back what you said a moment ago, that term, get yourself up by your bootstraps. I don't think we know how much of an insult that is to blacks and Hispanic people. Because basically, how could we catch up and we're behind 405 years? We don't know how much of an insult that is when they say, put yourselves up by your bootstrap, and we're behind centuries. It's impossible.
Right. Absolutely. And the thing is, they didn't even pull themselves up to their bootstraps. They was given boots. They was given boots that was already laced and strapped, while they give us boots with no laces. You know what I'm saying? But if I could, give me Lamentations chapter 2. Lamentations chapter 2. Lamentations chapter 2. Start at verse 1.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 2. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion?
Right.
With the cloud of his anger.
The what?
With the cloud of his anger.
Listen, this is Lamentations, man. This is letting you know the sorrows we go through, man. You know what I'm saying? The destruction, the depression, the oppression that's in Lamentations, man. And it's letting you know, read it again. What does it say?
Khan. How hath the Most High covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud of his anger?
Listen, this is letting you know right off the back that the Most High God has covered blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians with a cloud of anger, man. He has covered us with anger because we disobeyed him, man. Keep going.
Khan. And cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel. And remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger.
Listen, the Most High God has cast down the beauty of Israel, man. You know what the beauty of Israel was? The beauty of Israel was the Lord's statutes and commandments, man. Being over all these nations on the earth, man. Prospering no matter where we go on the earth. Guess what? They would be scared of us. But guess what? The Most High God said he did what with Israel?
Khan. Covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud of his anger. And cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel.
He cast down the beauty of Israel, man. Keep going.
And remember not his footstool in the day of his anger.
Right, keep going.
Khan. Verse 2. The Most High have swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob.
He has swallowed up what?
All the habitations of Jacob. And have not pitied. He had thrown down his wrath and strongholds on the daughter of Judah.
Right.
And have brought them down to the ground. And have polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof.
Listen, it's letting you know, it says the Lord has swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob and have not pity. Listen, the Most High God has devoured all the nation of Israel. The Lord has swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob. He destroyed all of us, not just one of us, not just Judah, not just Ephraim, not just Manasseh, not just Levi, but all the 12 tribes of Israel, man. All the habitation of Judah has been swallowed up by the Lord. We all go through these curses and oppression because we didn't serve the Most High God, man. And that's why, because of that, we've been swallowed up by the Lord. The Lord does not see over us because we disobeyed him, man. And have not pity. He have thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. Listen, he have thrown down the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He got rid of all the things that will protect us, man. All the things, the priests and the prophets, like it says. He had brought them down to the ground and have polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. Listen, all of our kingdoms and princes, all the places we need to be, they've been destroyed. All our high holy days, they've been destroyed. All the things that's supposed to keep us sane, they've been destroyed, man. And that's because we ain't served our Most High God. We too busy serving America. We too busy serving everything else. We too busy wanting to be in the Olympics. We too busy wanting to be basketball players and baseball and soccer, or we too busy sometimes even in our slavery too damn much that we don't even give our time to the Lord, man. We can't even, goddamn, we have slavery so much we don't even know what to do half the time. That's why we when we in this mess in so-called America, we do the things that we do, man. We be drinking and smoking and prostituting and all this because why we're trying to escape the oppression. Well, all we need to do is come together for once, and guess what? The oppression will disappear, man. If Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians all came together, there will be no more oppression for us, man. Because guess what? We all will rely on each other. And then from there, you know what else we would need to do? We would need to serve our God, serve our power, man. And once we do that, we'd be out of here, man. We wouldn't have mental illness. We wouldn't have curse of pestilence. We wouldn't have curses and vexations and astonishment of the heart. We wouldn't have all these things. We wouldn't be mad in the afternoon and in the noonday. We wouldn't have to go through all these things of the curses, man. We wouldn't have to look for our oppressor for food and water and clothes. No matter, we wouldn't have to worry about our land being destroyed or our crops not growing because we're cursed, man. We wouldn't have to go to this whore, this Babylon, Sodom. We wouldn't have to go to her for all our needs, man. We could come to each other. We could go to each other and realize, listen, brotherhood is truly a weapon. Brotherhood is truly a weapon indeed, man. And not only that our God, our Most High in Christ, our power that's in the heavens, listen, it's truly a magnificent power, man. A power that needs to be served at that, because guess what? He got us out of Egypt. He could get us out of America. He destroyed Egypt that everybody knew. Listen, he could destroy America where nobody will mess with us ever again, man. If I could keep going.
Khan. This is verse 3. Mm-hmm. He have cut off in his fury anger all the horns of Israel.
Right.
He have drawn back his right hand from before the enemy.
Listen, he has drawn back what?
His right hand from before the enemy. And he burned against Jacob like a flame fire, which devoureth around about.
Listen, he said he has drawn back the right hand from before the enemy. Listen, he's landed the enemies loose on us, man. He held back the enemy when we were serving him, man. When we served the Most High God, guess what? Nobody wanted to mess with us. Nobody wanted to step to us, because you know what? They was like, those are the children of Israel. Their God got them out of Egypt, man. You see, the Ark of the Covenant, we were surely about to die, man. That's in the goddamn scriptures, man. That anytime all the heathens saw us marching and we had the Ark of the Covenant, they was surely knew, like, listen, we are all about to die, man. There is no way we're going to win, because surely God is on their side. But now it says what? What does the Lord did with the enemy?
Khan. He has drawn back his right hand from before the enemy.
Listen, he's drawn back the right hand before his enemy, man. He just let the enemy go. He's like, all right, go ahead, man. Do what y'all want to do to my children, man. Because they surely don't want to listen to me. Surely they want to follow in with the heathen. So guess what? Go ahead and do what y'all got to do. It says, he has drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. And he have burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoureth round about. Read verse 4.
Khan. Verse 4. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an advisor. He showed all were pleasant to the eye and in the tabernacle of the
one whole thing. Keep going.
Of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire.
Listen, this is letting you know how angry the Lord is with us, man. The Lord is angry. The Lord is letting you know, listen, he have bent his bow like an enemy. Listen, the enemy is going to bend his bow all the way back toward you, man. He's going to bend that bow back so much that when that arrow hits you, it's surely going to kill you, man. He's going to have no remorse on you, man. That's letting you know the Most High God is going to make sure these curses come upon you like the scripture says, man. He's going to do what the enemy does right to you. Go ahead.
Slaka said, if I may, that's like, imagine if someone's holding a ravaging pit bull and saying, I'm going to let it go because you didn't listen to me. And you're gonna suffer what the pit bull does to you.
Right. Absolutely, man. And that's what the Lord did. He let loose everything. Let loose all the terrors, we say. He let loose everything on us, man. You know what? And after that, guess what? We was suffering. We was being destroyed. We were killed. We were slaves, like how we are today. Keep going. Read verse 4.
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. The Most High was as an enemy.
What does it says?
The Most High was as an enemy.
Listen, and that's a terrible thing, man. Your father being an enemy towards his child. This lane says, read it again. What?
And the Most High was as an enemy. He hath shown up. He has Slakia. He hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her places.
Right.
Slakia, palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds. He hath increased the daughter of Judah, mourning and lamentations.
Listen, yeah. And that's letting you know, man, right off the bat, the Lord is have us in this conditions that we in right now. The Lord could take us out of it. Just like how that sister Simone Biles has her mental health. Guess what? The Lord could save her from that, man. The Lord could save her from, guess what? You don't have to join the Olympics again, man. You can enjoy your life, and guess what? You don't have to do the Olympics 4 years from now or for whatever from now. You can actually get you don't even have to get a job. You could just live in peace, man, and worry about your mental health. And not go out there and slave for the goddamn white man. Go out there and do backflips for him, goddamn it. That's the crazy thing. She go out there doing backflips and running and splits and dancing. And she ain't doing that for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Surely ain't doing that for us. That's not benefiting our health, our well-being. Surely isn't. That's America, man. You giving America all that plight, all that glory. But what happens to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? We out here dying in the goddamn streets, man. To the point where when it's her turn to feel like, yo, I gotta stop. I got a mental health problem. They get all on her. They start calling her a quitter. They tell her that, like, you ain't, listen, how you gonna do this to your team, man? Your team needs you. To the point where she had to says, I'm not the only one on the goddamn team. I thought a team was more than one person. She had to say, listen, that's why we have 5 people on the team. It's just not me going out there getting the gold medals. That's just letting you know that's why that's just letting you know that's why they was milking her, man. Milking her and raping her for all her goods and her talent. And guess what she got for it? She got flack. Because she wanted to worry about her well-being, where America wanted her blood, sweat, and tears for a goddamn gold medal. They do that for every athlete, man. They do that to LeBron James. They did it to Kobe Bryant. All these superstars, man. We paying you all this high-class money. You better go out there and score, goddammit. You better bring home some goddamn championships. I don't give a damn if you sick. I don't give a damn if you got the flu. I don't give a damn if you broke your leg. They want their prizes. They want all that they paid for, man. And it's the same, and there's no exclusion from her, man. And not only her, for us layman men too. But guess what? We out there working these jobs. We out there working these so-called COVID what was it? Essential worker jobs. Everything might be open back now, but guess who was working during those times? Slaving. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. And how you think that affected Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians' health and their well-beings and mental health? You have people like, Terry, I don't want to go out there and get COVID, but I need my money. I need money because my family and this and that. But I don't want to bring the sickness home. I don't want to bring COVID home to my family. I don't want to do this. And guess what? You got some people losing their goddamn minds because they don't know what to do out there. But if you could keep going.
God, verse 6. And he have violently taken away his tabernacle, as if it were of a garden. He hath destroyed his place of the assembly.
And it says what? And he have violently taken away what?
His tabernacle. As if it were of a garden.
Listen, and that's letting you know, just like how it was in the Garden of Eden, how he kicked Adam and Eve out. Guess what? It's the same thing with this. That's why he says as he violently take away his tabernacle as if it was the garden, just like the Garden of Eden, man. You want to mix with the heathen? You want to go in the fig leaves with them? Guess what? Get out. Get out of it. You don't belong in here. You wanna dabble with their religions. You want to dabble with their culture. You don't want to embrace the culture of the Bible, of the God of the Bible with the Lord's statutes and commandments. Guess what? I'm gonna take away your tabernacle like the garden, man. If I could, I'm gonna go into the this thesis. If I could, Shaul, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you right now. Let me see where you at. Shaul. There you go. Where is this article? Well, all right, I got it. This thesis. And this thesis is on slavery, on us being athletic in sports. You got it, Shaw? You got it? Con. So just when you got it, just read the title. Say that again. What are you saying? Oh, from the very top. Go all the way up. What says one out of, yeah, go all the way up. Start from the very top. Well, it looks different on your phone? Yeah, absolutely. That's it. You just got scroll. When you scroll down, it's gonna be pages. Just just read the title.
Sports and shackles. The athletic and recreational habits of slaves on southern plantations.
Listen, and this is letting you know what the hell we going into. Read it one more time, Shaul.
Sports and shackles. The athletic and recreational habits of slaves on southern plantations.
So if you don't know what's going on, this is the thesis wrote by somebody. His name is where is it? John Griffin. I think that's what it says. Griffin. Yeah, Griffin. And he wrote this thesis for university. What university? It says Chapman University. And he wrote this whole thesis on it. It's 23 pages long about sports and athletic but it being during slavery. And he wrote all this, and at the end of the thesis, he shares all his PowerPoints, he shows all his information, It's not out of his ass. It's all from links and books and all that he shares, where he got everything from the footnotes. And if you could, Shaw, go to page. You don't have the highlights, so I will have to tell you. But go to page 2 and read the very first paragraph.
Cut on con, sir. Page 2.
Mm-hmm.
When conducting a survey about the general views people have on slavery,
Right.
Quantitative analysts showed that the majority of individuals identify slavery as a racist institution.
Right.
Defining slaves simplistically as mass of people involved within it. The perception is not far from the views of those who initially forced Africans from their homelands hundreds of years ago. Historically, it is easy to lose count of the over 13 million slaves taken from Africa. Legends have developed from countless stories about American slavery. And these tales led the foundations for famous characters in history books,
Right.
and literary works.
I know the words are small.
Come on,
You have
so
to bring it in. Take your time. Go ahead.
However, each slave, whether born in America or Africa, famous or not, was a person. Every slave had a face, a name, a family, and a life. Despite the institution of slavery and the harsh conditions presented by plantation life, tradition, culture, and individually were preserved within the numerous slaves,
Right.
whose voices are not heard in history books. These were men, women, and children who aimed to step beyond the social boundaries branded upon them by slavery. The life of the American slave is a topic that maintains distant variables of culture and social interaction. The institution of slavery oppressed Africans and African Americans as a people. However, they were to experience a normal setting due to culture entities such as music, religion, and sports, and the essential narrative on an accurate story of millions of people who have been lost in one of history's darkest sagas.
Right. So basically, this is the introduction. It's letting you know that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians during slavery, well, it says African Americans, but it's more than just Blacks, so-called African Americans. This so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians went through the same thing, man.
Right.
Because we were slave all over the place, not just the South, but different areas. Especially in the South, we had Native Americans there too, man, and Hispanic people. But it's letting you know that the different things that happened, some people were named, and there's different parts of history that's not told about, or some things in history that's misinformed. You know what I'm saying? The guy is letting you know he's gonna break down certain things that we might not have known about slavery. Some things that you feel you know about, but don't know all of it. Like, this thing is 23 pages long. We can't go through all of it, but the most important parts I'm trying to bring out that has to do with the sister, and not just the sister, but us in general, I'm gonna bring out. But I'm gonna try to cover the main points that's being missed right now. The main points that's in the articles that we're not really gonna go over is that during slavery, I don't even know if it's a brother or a white man, whatever, but the person who's writing this is letting you know that all slaves wasn't as slaves like how people, like the movies portray slaves to be. If you look at a slavery movie, we would think all slaves didn't have anything. They were just butt naked with a shackle and pants, and nah, that's not the case. Even when you go to Officer Yatazar's lecture, he'll tell you, even in the lecture, that they have some kind of middle class and high class slavery, black Hispanics and Native Indians because they couldn't keep us. They couldn't control all of us by themselves. They needed us to help us slave each other. And because of that, this was certain things that we were allowed to do. We weren't always slaves. Like we were allowed certain off days, like how it is today. We might work Monday through Friday, and guess what? Have Saturday and Sunday off. You might get to see your loved ones and spend time with your children. You might get to do sports and do this and cooking and all that. And he goes over these narratives here. But we won't be able to get through all of it. But there's something important that all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to realize while I'm bringing this out. If you could, go to the next page, page 3, and read the first paragraph. It says the history of slavery.
Page 3. The history of slavery is an extensive chronologically that displays hundreds of years of African culture infused with the growing American social structure through the Civil War.
Right. So it's saying the history of slavery is extensive chronological that displays hundreds of years of African culture infused with the growing American social structure through the Civil War. So, to our oppressor that they think all Blacks is Africans, man. But he don't realize when he's saying African here, he's trying to correlate. He makes a difference between how they do things in Africa and how the African American do things. So even in this thesis, he's letting you know that Africans and African Americans are totally different. Listen, there's no listen. The oppressor might look at us and like, yeah, y'all niggas all look the same. But he knows there's a difference between an African from Nigeria and an African American from Mississippi, Georgia. He knows there's a complete difference. But in this, it is saying that the history of slavery is extensive chronology that displays hundreds of years of African culture infused with the growing American social structure through the Civil War. So it's letting you know, throughout the years, doing chronological in order and through history, we did things that affect America. As culture, our culture affected America, man. The things we did in slavery up to now, guess what? It helps America. America copies the things we did, man. And he's letting you know it happened back then too. Keep going, Shaw.
Got on, sir. These cultural aspects became part of American slavery.
Right.
And while different from their white counterparts.
It was different from what?
Their white counterparts.
So he's letting you know right here. Listen, when white people did it, it was different. They did it way different between when African Americans did it. Keep going.
Witnessed a parallel evolution with American sports and recreation in the 19th century. The attempts of ultimately African American slaves to develop produced a unique slave culture constructed over numerous generations.
Right.
This would affect not only the lives of slaves on the plantations, but American society as well.
Right.
With the identification of these various features among slave life in the South, it is clear that the stereotypical view of American slavery, which consisted of backbreaking labor and the mistreatment of African Americans, minimized the reality of slaves as a people who insisted on experiencing a life of normalcy through recreational activities.
Listen, and right there is letting you know we had to do certain sports and activities to feel like we were normal, instead of being slaves, man. So guess what? When you do Olympics, when you do basketball, when you do other things, it makes you feel that, you know what? You can escape slavery. You can escape oppression. You know why? Because you've been slave your whole goddamn life. But keep reading, Charles. We got a few paragraphs we gotta read. Keep going.
Come on, sir. It is important to understand that many of the issues clearly shown throughout these generalizations revolving around the topic of slavery are valid. However, sports were a way of declaring an independent slave identity, contrary to popular perceptions that seemingly define slaves in a common manner.
Mm-hmm.
In 1850,
wait. All right. Drop down to the last paragraph when it says modern scholars.
When modern scholars dissect the life of the American slave, the overwhelming cruelty and harshness of their existence becomes glaringly obvious.
Right. So it's letting you know that, listen, the things in during slavery, it was obvious what was going on. Keep going.
Slaves worked long, hard hours.
They did what?
Worked long, hard hours.
They did what?
Worked long, hard hours.
It's letting you know slaves did what?
Worked long, hard hours.
Keep going.
In the fields.
Right.
Year round, and were rewarded with little gratitude.
It was rewarded with what?
Little gratitude.
That's just like today, man. You work 24 hours, you slave, you do all this practice in the goddamn gymnasium, and you do what? What happens, Shaw? You get what?
Rewarded with little gratitude.
You rewarded with little gratitude, man. Guess what? The things that happened to us today, it was happened to our forefathers, our foremothers, man. They were rewarded with little gratitude, man. That's letting you know, goddamn, we are cursed out there, man. We are slaves to the T. Keep going, Shaw.
Or respect.
Or what?
Or respect.
Listen, they don't have respect for us. Keep going.
For their efforts.
Right.
Former slave Frank Adamson, who was interviewed for the Federal Writers Project in the early 20th century, recalled his daily work routine in the cotton fields of South Carolina.
Right.
What I do: hold cotton.
Right.
Pick cotton.
Right.
Tend to cows.
Cats.
Right. Tend to calves and slop the pigs.
Right.
Under the vision of the overseer.
Under the vision of the who?
Overseer.
The oppressor is who?
The overseer.
The white man is who?
The overseer.
Listen, it's letting you know he did all this under the supervisor's vision, man. It's like how we are today. You are not rewarded. You're not, you don't get no kind of gratitude, no type of, oh, you did great. You know what? Here's a this or that. You don't get none of that. You do all this hard work under your supervisor's vision, man. Keep going.
Mr. Adamson's daily chores were similar to those of the typical plantation slave.
Yes, the typical. So it's letting you know the typical known of slavery. This is how people thought it was, or how it usually went. Keep going.
Another former slave interviewed in the 1920s and 1930s for Federal Writers Project was Jacob Branch.
Right.
Who record plantation shifts and quotas that each worker was expected to meet.
So we had quotas to meet during slavery, just like how we have quotas to meet today. Keep going.
My sister there,
right?
She had to bring in 900 pounds a day.
How much her quota was to do what?
900 pounds a day.
No, just 1 pound.
900.
How much?
900.
How much?
900.
How much?
900. Pounds a day.
Listen, you don't know how much 900 pounds of goddamn cotton is, man. That's how much a devil our oppressor is, man. So how you think you gonna try? How you think we are trying to run away from our oppression, man? How you think we're gonna try to run away from stuff like this? A sister during slavery has to bring in 900 goddamn pounds of cotton a day, man. And guess what happens if she didn't do that? Keep going, Charles. Let's see what happens.
Of cotton. Well, cotton was hard because it was heavier there.
Uh-huh.
Many other slaves claimed similar work routines during their terms of bondage.
Right.
Numerous slaves record that due to the intense heat in many of the southern states, the cotton they had to pick day in and day out became heavier and heavier.
Right.
Cotton, when dry, is very light and soft material with which weighs close to nothing. However,
send you the link now, sir.
However, for the slaves picking it daily in the strong heat,
right,
the redundancy of the task made the cotton feel as heavy as stones. To have daily quotas of anywhere from 400 to nearly 100 pounds meant that slaves were forced to work from sun up to sundown or longer to ensure that they completed their tasks.
Listen, and this is letting you know why the white man is the goddamn devil, man.
That's right.
Because it happens today, man. He tells you have to finish the job before you leave. And you tell him it's impossible. I cannot do all this by myself before I leave. He says when the next time I come in here at 9 o'clock in the morning, it better be done. And what you got to do, you have to stay the night. You have to make sure this is finished before it's done. Oh, guess what? You're fired. Or if that's the case of our brothers during slavery, you're going to get killed. Or you might be whipped. Or your son or your daughter or hell, your wife might not be there the next day.
Right.
The white man is the devil that the goddamn Bible speaks of, man.
Right.
And this is why we run from oppression, man. This is why we go to Olympics and do other things. And we didn't even get into that part yet. We didn't even get into the part why we do the sports. We get to the part where our oppressor tells us to do a task that's completely impossible, man. That's like telling a brother and sister that just became a carpentry, like, yo, I need you to build this house this weekend. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know how it needs to be done. Or we're going to kill you. This is basically what they're telling our brothers and sisters back then. We need you to pick all this cotton, 900 pounds of cotton, man. Niggas don't even want to cut grass. We don't want to cut grass in the goddamn sun. Well, guess what? Your foremothers and fathers had to pick goddamn cotton from sun up to sun up to make sure they was alive the next goddamn day. You got it, sir? So keep going.
Failure.
Wait, Sloggy. 1 second. Let me go back to it. All right, keep going.
Failure to do so often resulted in punishment.
Right.
Depending on the personality and severity of the slave master or overseer.
Right.
Clearly, these aspects of plantation life for slaves were in accord with the American stereotype of merciless work and countless struggles. The enslaved African Americans were insensibly Salakia.
I don't know where. Let me see where you at. Con, sir. We on page was it 4 right now? Yeah, we on page 4. I'm trying to see where you at. So what was the last thing you said?
I'm gonna start from where it says Salakia. Meant that slaves were forced to work from sun up to sundown.
Okay. Keep going, right.
Or longer to ensure that they completed their tasks. Failure to do so often resulted in punishment.
Right.
Depending on the personality or severity of the slave master or overseer.
Right.
Clearly, these aspects of plantation life for slaves were in accord with the American stereotype or merciless work and countless struggles.
Right.
The enslaved African Americans were essentially subjugated by slave drivers who watched, maintained, and both physically and mentally abused their slaves.
Yeah. So this is not letting you open it. It's not. I'll sure open it. I'll send it one more time just in case. Let me see. It might be. It's just it's a thesis. It's still not letting you do it. But no, but basically, it's like, you know, listen, we were in turmoil during that time. We were just being killed and being slaves for our oppressor and doing tasks that was completely impossible. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to the part that I want. Some of the drop down to page 5.
Got him on card.
Right. Drop down and start where it says numerous other slave stories. You see that?
Got him on card, sir.
Yeah, start from there. You're gonna read this whole thing. Keep going.
Got him on card. Numerous other slave stories have this similar theme. Many slaves had to learn to deal with these very same issues, and upon doing so, turn to cultural components individually and camaraderie among other slaves to find meaning and support in the midst of their struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So sports were an outlet for slave individuality.
Right.
These communal and individual events did not restrict the plantation owners' firm grasp on the individual freedoms of slaves in an attempt to limit their knowledge of the outside world.
Right.
Overseers and owners has held slaves under rules regarding all aspects of life,
Mm-hmm.
including recreation and sports.
Mm-hmm.
Recreation and sports. Countless slaves lacked the proper equipment and venues to participate in certain sports. According to the Georgia slave narratives, one slave on a plantation on a Dixon property record, recreation was not considered important, so no provision was made in the regular routine.
Mm-hmm.
The slaves were rarely given the opportunity to participate in individual events without the consent of supervision of the slave owners or the overseers on the plantation.
So it's like, you know, right there, listen, we couldn't do anything without an overseer. We couldn't have sports. We couldn't have fun. We couldn't have anything. It's like, you know, no matter what we did, the overseer was to let you know that you are still a slave. Right. Just like how it is in the Olympics, she could do all those backflips and get clapped by the team. But guess what? They have an overseer over that gymnastics team, right? They have an overseer that makes sure, guess what, nigga? Make sure you do these flips, win these gold medals, and go home quiet. Right. When she said, listen, my mental health is at stake, the overseer said, what? Your mental health? We ain't pay you for your mental health. You ain't here about your mental health. You here to win some gold goddamn medals for America. So this is letting you know, just for this one paragraph, no matter what we do, we have an overseer trying to make us sure we do the thing we supposed to do, man. Right. Keep going.
Got on card. Slave owners strongly maintain strict conditions to limit individuality and the development of African American slave culture.
Mm-hmm.
And in an attempt to keep African American slaves ignorant of religion, freedom, and education, the reality of freedom or a world away from the plantations within the institution for many slaves became blurred in the midst of the harshness of their daily lives.
Listen, and this is letting you know, listen, at the end of the day, they realized they were still slaves, man.
Right.
No matter what they do, they realize, oh, we gonna be slaves here. We can't do nothing together without an overseer. This is letting you know, religion. At the end of the day, they was trying to stop us from coming back to the Most High God, man.
Right.
Because think about it. When we get together as brothers and sisters, what happened? We end up talking about a whole bunch of things. Man, we're that. You know what? That's crazy that happened. Where'd that come from? Yo, I heard from such and such from the Bible. Now you lying. Now let me see. Then we guess what happened? We all get together. We making things up. The oppressor does not want us to come together. The so-called edify each other, man.
Right.
He don't want us to do that at all. He wants us to just go to work Monday through Friday, slave in and out, and give us a little trinkets and rewards. But to make sure you still have that overseer there, man. The overseer is the most important thing about this whole thing, because without an overseer, without a oppressor oppressing you, guess what? We'll be out of this hell, man.
Right.
We'll be scot-free discussing our problems among each other. But keep going, Shaw.
Concert. Slaves on a farm in Alabama developed a perspective similar to the numerous other slave communities.
Mm-hmm.
Life was kinder, happier during slavery, because we never known nothing about any other sort of life or freedom. For numerous slaves, the only social experience they ever encountered was the work they were forced to do every day.
Right.
Sports.
Here we go. Sports. Here you go.
Sports were a way to not only release built up emotions.
What? Read it again.
Sports were a way to not only release built up emotions.
Read it again.
Sports were a way to not only release built up emotions.
Sports were a way not only to release built up emotions. Keep going.
And frustration.
And what?
Frustration.
Because slavery is what?
Frustration.
Mental health is what?
Frustration.
When your kid dying out on the street is what?
Frustration.
Listen, it says sports were a way not only to release built up emotions and frustrations, keep going,
but we're also a physical escape.
A what?
A physical escape from the realities of slave life.
Whoa, from a what?
From the realities of slave life.
Listen, and that's why we have gymnastics. That's why we have basketball. That's why we have football. That's why we have soccer. That's why we have tennis. We have beach volleyball. We have running, golf, whatever that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians want to get their self into. It says sports were not only a release to build up emotions and frustrations, but to also a physical escape from realities of a slave life. Because when you're a slave, you can have a regular life. So guess what they gave you? They gave you sports. They gave you gymnastics. They give you a chance to be a winner, a chance to be a swimmer, a chance you want to run for America. You want to be all you can be. You want to win some gold medals and forget about going home to work, forgetting about being in a second or a first class, a third class citizen. How about coming to us and tour the world and being American? How about that? But not in realization, it says, read it from the top one more time, Shaw.
Sports were a way to not only release built up emotions and frustrations, but were also a physical escape from the realities of slave life.
Keep going.
The athletic and physical thrill of sports, competition, and hunting were trivial aspects of life for many African American slaves.
Right.
Yet recreational activities stretched far beyond the limits of brute activity and physical athleticism. To battle the oppression felt throughout the trials of their enslavement. American slaves produced an entire realm of self-identification through their recreational inclinations, including numerous activities and cultural entities. These important elements did not necessarily survival or even physical ventures, but rather were components of the cultural foundation of slave community. Vast amounts of research on slave culture, music, dancing, weddings, and as important aspects for the individual tradition within slave communities.
So basically, it's then, listen, during all this, we make cultures out of all the things he just labeled: sports, weddings, music, dancing. And guess what we do today? We do all this today. We do all this today just to do what? Escape being slaves.
Right.
Escape being oppressed. You think it's new to be dancing and singing and music and hip hop and all that, to be like, you know what? I'm gonna do this to not be as stressed because my mental health is at stake. I think I'm gonna go dancing. Right. I think I'm gonna plan a wedding and get married. I'm gonna do all this when your forefathers and your foremothers was doing this, man. To feel that that they don't have to die the next day. They might die the next day, but guess what? We're gonna go out there and dance. Right. We're gonna do that and make this our culture. And guess what's our culture today? All the things labeled here. As the scripture said, there ain't nothing new under the sun, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian. You escape oppression from these things. Guess what? Your great grandfather and mother escape oppression from those things too. Right. Keep going, Shaw.
Historically, the influence of music on the slave community had an impact far beyond being a simple social diversion from cruel reality.
Right.
While leading hundreds of slaves to freedom through the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman used song and music to encode secret messages in meetings and meeting places for runaway slaves.
Right.
Culturally, music had a great impact on slave life in all forms. Mm-hmm. However, recreationally, the slaves' ability to sing and dance provided them with one of the most rewarding experiences while escaping from day-to-day reality of plantation life. Men and women would feel the love and closeness that any two free individuals would feel in any white or black community.
You could drop that. Go all the way down to verse 11. Page 11.
Come on.
Because before the class is over, I want to get into this part too. Because this is a long thing. This thesis is 23 pages long, and I read the whole thing, and I wish we could read the whole thing, but there's so much things in here that I would want people to know. But this is what I added all the things. This is the important part of. This is some of the important part of what we should realize about this thesis. Read. Go down to on page 11. It should say for many of the sports that America's slaves played. You see that?
Come on, sir.
Yeah, read that.
Come on, page 11. For many of the sports that American slaves played on plantations, the rewards made available at the culmination of these events brought an increased element of competition and athleticism,
right,
into recreation.
Right.
This remained true whether slaves participated for their own enjoyment or that of their master.
Listen, and that's important. Just think about that. It's either they didn't know if they was joining for their enjoyment or their master's enjoyment.
Right.
And guess what? That happens today. That's what our sister was going through. She was going first. She went there for her enjoyment to the point where it became their enjoyment.
Right.
Her mental health was at stake, and they're looking at her like, well, we need you. You signed up for this. You know what this is about. You need to go out there and do some goddamn flips, man. But it's just not only her. It's for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. This happens to all of us. We try to escape our trials and tribulations, these curses, and not realizing these sports and these rewards for many things that we do is just to pacify our oppression, man. Keep going, Shaw.
Come on. The time off on the plantation and a vast majority of the prizes eligible for receipt for slaves would come from the slave masters. Mm-hmm. There is no doubt that thousands of slaves have been treated poorly and seen as nothing more than property to their slave owner.
Right.
Rarely had access to certain daily commodities. This included, but was not limited to, substantial food, proper seasonal clothing, shoes, or covering, or even bedding. The slave owner's intense determination to disallow the personal development of the American slave was evident in this treatment of African Americans. This included such cruelties as lack of education for slaves,
Right.
minimal individual freedom for love, companionship, or culture, and physical brutality. To maintain individualistic enmities despite this treatment, slave sports and competitions would oftentimes conclude with prizes. These prizes were a small attempt to fill the void left.
Do what?
These prizes were a small attempt to fill the void.
The void. Small attempt. These gold medals was attempt to do what?
Fill the void.
Those trips around the world, around the globe, was to do what?
Fill the void.
Those trips. I mean, those times with all your friends and drinking and smoking was what?
Fill the void.
Uh-huh.
Left by the inhuman treatment of slave masters.
Listen, and that's letting you know, straight up. Listen, we was giving sports, we was giving all these activities to feel like we were enslaved, man. To feel that we gotta escape the conditions and the feelings of slavery, man. And that is important for this whole thesis, man. One thing before we stop, I want to bring this one thing out. And then we're gonna get one more scripture, and then we gonna go down to verse. I keep saying verse. Go down to the page. Go down to page 15.
Come on, Carl.
Let me read it real quick. Okay, go down to page slightly. Go down to page 16 and read just this one paragraph. Read where it says sports were symbolic.
Come on, Carl. Page 16. Sports were symbolic. They did not hold the same meaning or symbolism as sports in African cultures, but in African American cultures, especially within slavery. Sports and recreation meant something more than just entertainment.
Listen, and this right here is letting you know, like, if you read this whole thing, it's letting you know he describes when Africans play sports, what they do it for, and what African Americans, when they do sports and what they do it for. They let you know when Africans do sports and hunting and do all the things, they do it for survival and they do it for fun and do this. But when niggas do it, we do it because we are working hard. We're dying. We have to forget that my brother might be sold tomorrow. Right. But because of that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go out there. We're gonna drink the night away. We're gonna go out there and dance and get married today because I might not be with my wife tomorrow. So I'm gonna marry her tonight. Right. Because she might be sold tomorrow. So in this thesis is that, you know, there's a complete difference between Africans and African Americans, man. But keep going. Finish up, Shaw.
Slaves were willing to risk their lives.
They was doing what?
Willing to risk their lives.
We have mental health. You willing to do what?
Risk their lives and freedom to enjoy late night horse races and other events as well.
Right.
Within the sport of horse riding and horse racing in slavery, slaves felt power and freedom as they controlled the animal. Though to many slave owners and plantation overseers, slaves were as low as or even lower than the farm animals.
Say that again.
Come on. Though to many slave owners and plantation owners, slaves were as low.
Who?
Slaves.
Who?
Slaves.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were what?
Slaves.
And we still are what?
Slaves. Were as low as or even lower than the farm animals.
So why do you think we wanted to do other sports to forget about slavery, man? It's like, we were lower than farm animals, man. A nigga was lower than a goddamn chicken or a chicklet or a piglet or a pig or whatever farm animal you can think of is in their infant state. We was lower than that goddamn animal, man. It's like, straight off the bat, that's what we were. We were lower than them. And that's why we had to do the things we did. We had to enjoy these sports. We wanted these sports as rewards to feel that we had some type of control. He's about to say, keep going.
Residing within the plantation fences.
Mm-hmm.
It was during these particular recreational events that American slaves were able to feel a sense of pride.
The sense of what?
Pride.
When you win a gold medal, you're gonna have what?
Pride.
No, a sense of what?
A sense of pride.
Listen, when you no longer a drug dealer and you out there serving the country, that's America, you're gonna have what?
Sense of pride.
Listen, when you out there and you swimming and you running and you beat the world records, what you gonna have?
Sense of pride.
When you not at your slavery and you out there enjoying life with your brothers and sisters, getting drunk and smoking weed, what happened?
Sense of pride.
Listen, that's what happened. And that's what's happening now. We're too busy trying to enjoy life, trying to enjoy these little trinkets and rewards that the oppressor gives us, that we forget the Lord's statutes and commandments, man.
Right.
We forget what's really important, and that's serving the Most High God.
That's right.
That we rather have what? Read it one more time.
Sense of pride.
We rather have that. Little trinkets and sense of pride, man. Finish up, Shaul.
And self-worth.
Uh-huh.
In the slave narratives of the Library and Congress, a repetitive theme found throughout the words of many slaves themselves create a sense of sadness as they compare themselves to the livestock being sold at the markets. It was through events such as horse racing that American slaves risked and were able to feel a sense of worth beyond their normal comparison to the animals maintained throughout the South.
Listen, man, and you end it right there. And this is why it's important. This is why we have to realize, like, the brothers and sisters during slavery, they went through the things we're going through now. There is nothing absolutely new that we're going through that our forefathers ain't go through. We ran out of time, but guess what? And during the Greeks, during the Maccabees, guess what? We had gymnasiums. We gave up our traditions to be like the Greeks. We gave it up. So guess what? We could run and jump and play and do backflips and springboard and throw what's the javelin and stones. We did all that during the Maccabees. And we gave up our Lord's statutes and commandments. This ain't nothing new. We doing it now. But before I go, let me get one more scripture, if I could, from someone. Let me get Job chapter 13, verse 1. Job chapter 13, verse 1. And we're going to end on this one. Job chapter 13, verse 1. If I could, somebody just read it when you can. Yeah, Job chapter 13. Job chapter 13, verse 1.
This is the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 1. Lo, my eyes have seen all this. My ears have heard and understood it. Verse 2. What ye know, the same do I know also.
Right.
And I not inferior unto you?
What?
Am I not inferior unto you? Verse 3. Surely I would speak to the Almighty and desire to reason with the Most High.
Right.
Verse 4. But ye are forters of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
Listen, man, and this is important, man. This is something Job went through, man. This is something Job had to realize. Read it from the top one more time.
Lo, my eyes have seen all. My ears have heard and understood. Verse 2.
Listen, this is lo. My eyes have seen all this. My ears have heard and understood it. Listen, Job is letting you know, I have seen all this. I've seen these things before. My ear have heard and understood it. I've heard, he's basically saying, I've heard and I understood certain things. Keep going, verse 2.
Verse 2. What ye know, the same do I know also. I am not inferior unto you.
So he's saying, what ye know, the same do I know also. You gotta remember, this is a sentence. You can't stop. It says, what ye know, the same do I know also. Am I not inferior unto you? So basically, it's basically saying, I know the same thing you know. Just think about the oppressor. I know the things you know. You know the things I know. I know what it takes to be great. You know what it takes to be great. But the difference is we're going to find out. Keep going.
Verse 3. Surely I would speak to the Almighty.
What?
Surely I would speak to the Almighty.
What?
Surely I would speak to the Almighty.
The difference is surely blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians can speak to the Almighty, man. We can speak to the Most High God, man. We can speak to Yahweh, man, our Father. And guess what? We could get out of slavery. They might know the things we might know, or we might know the things they know. Surely it says, why ye know the same do I know also. Am I not inferior to you? So he's saying, do I look inferior to you because I know the same things you know? I know about the sun. I know about the stars. I know about the moon. I know right from wrong. I know about all the things that you know, my oppressor. But the thing that's different is read verse 3 again.
Surely I would speak to the Almighty.
Surely I could do what?
Speak to the Almighty.
Surely I could do what?
Speak to the Almighty.
And guess what? Everybody can't speak to the Most High God, man. The Most High God don't acknowledge everybody, man. He only knows Israel. He only knows his children, man. And that's what makes this verse, that makes this scripture important. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, you might go through all these turmoil. You might go all this oppression. And listen, we might all know everything, but there's one difference. The Most High God knows one people. He loves one people. He gives his covenant to one people. He cares about one people, and that's so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Keep going.
And I desire to reason with the Most High Power.
And I desire to reason to Most High Power. Listen, I'm gonna finally understand why I need to serve the Lord's statutes and commandments. I'm gonna finally realize what it takes to do this, man. What it takes to have true brotherhood and sisterhood. It takes what it is to come together as a nation and serve the Most High God. Keep going.
Verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. But ye are forgers.
But the oppressor is what?
Forgers of lies.
But ye are forgers of lies, man. I speak to the Most High God, but ye are what?
Forgers of lies.
You are forgers of lies. You are a devil, man. You are a deceiver. You are a liar. And because of that, keep going.
Ye are all physicians and no value.
You are physicians and no value. You do all things that equal no value. You build buildings, you build skyscrapers that equal no value. You become what mechanics, they become multi-million Mongols, they become superstars and doctors and whatnot, whatever this America likes to glorify. but it equals no value. You know why? Because they don't serve the Most High God. They can't. They're not the children of the Most High, man. Keep going.
Verse 5. Oh, that ye would all altogether hold your peace, and it should be wisdom.
Listen, it said, all that ye would altogether hold your peace, and it be wisdom. It's letting you know, listen, if they would just shut up and not worry about nothing, that would be wisdom to them, man. If they were not worried about what the hell we doing, guess what? It'll be wisdom to them. But they don't have that. Keep going.
Verse 6. Hear now my reasoning, and hearken unto the pleading of my lips. Verse 7. Will you speak wickedly for God and talk deceitfully for him? Verse 8. Will you accept his persons? Will ye contend with God?
Right.
Verse 9. It is good that he should search you out, or as one man mocketh another. Do ye so mock him? Verse 10. He will surely reprove you if ye do secretly accept persons.
Listen, it's letting you know, if you do all these things, if you don't respect the Most High God, if you don't love his children, if you rather the wicked, because it says, will ye speak wickedly for God and talk deceitful for him? Listen, who are you to do that? Who are you to judge for God, man? Who are you to say that a sister can't take her mental health absence so she can win a gold medal for these devils, man? Who are you? Are you going to speak for God? Is that what God wants? Because you know our oppressor loves saying that. They love bringing up Christianity to make us feel weak and docile. Christ would not do that. I thought you was a Christian. I thought you loved all American. Because if you was American, you would know that God loves everybody. And if you love all of us, you would surely come to this competition and do some flips, man. And not being selfish, because you're being selfish with quitting out on your team. When it's a goddamn team. The team is not what's her name again? I forget at the moment. Yeah, Simone Bailey. Right. Biles, Salagi. Simone Biles. The team is not just Simone Biles. That's not the name of the team. It is the American gymnastics team, man. This is letting you know, listen, these oppressors will try to do everything in their power to talk evil upon us, man. But not realize, guess what? They're liars and forgers. They equal to no value. So the things they do, the things they say, the counsel they give equals to nothing, man. It's just letting you know, at the end of the day, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they need to come back to the Most High God, man. Come back to your brothers, come back to your sisters, come back to your goddamn children at that, and realize, listen, without each other, without brotherhood being a weapon, it's not gonna survive. We're gonna bound to be slaves forever. We ain't gonna amount to nothing. But with that, we the I.S.U.P.K. starting out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We've been doing this since 1969, letting the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that you are the lost sheep of House of Israel, man. And to always go over, we have counseling, we have food programs, we have prison programs, we have a cookout coming out at Randall's Island, August 21st, right? On a Saturday, man. All blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is invited. Leave your white friends and African friends at home. Shalom, Israel. That's my time.